again to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Russ.
And I'm Chris.
And this is episode 179. 179 in our continuing quarantine broadcast here in our various nerd basements. Um, it is a sweltering but
It's a,
welcome
it,
warm couple of days here in the Detroit area.
Summer came in.
And yeah, summer landed very quickly and hard and like smacked us in the head today. It got to 88 in
Yeah,
the city of Detroit.
yeah. Two
And
weeks ago we had snow. Not even 2 weeks ago we had snow.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. And but from what I understand, it's supposed to even out again a little bit in the next few days.
Yeah.
Kind of drop on a more normal. I actually turned the AC on for a while because not for me, but for my dog. I think my dog Dresden has not wanted to be outside. He's like, I don't want to. He goes out to pee, and he's like, I'm gonna go back in the house. And, we're like, all right. And it finally got hot enough. It was like 84 in here, and I kind of went, and I have a moral and ethical problem with turning on the air conditioning before June.
Oh, see, I don't.
But today, I know, but you're, the heat miser. But today I was like, you know what, fuck it. It's like 84 in here. The dog's uncomfortable. I'm kind of uncomfortable. I'm going to turn the AC on just down to 80, just kind of, keep it kind of mellow, and whatnot. But
I think we had it on by 11 o'clock yesterday morning.
no, that's the thing. You and Renee both are apparently built for for cold weather. Cooler weather at the very least. Stella and I were both getting a little. I mean, and I like the heat. I was okay. Open the windows a bit, but like I said, I was worried about Dresden a little bit. I mean, he does walk around with fur coat on all the time. So, but anyway,
Yep.
Welcome once again, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It is sorry we're running a little late. We had some technical difficulties again
On both sides this time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's funny. Like, I pretty much figured out what the problem was with this mic and headset, and it's just in the settings for the most part. Excuse me, making sure that it's recording and or like the mic is collecting information at 24 bits per second, 96,000 hertz. It's studio quality, whatever. But from whatever reason, sometimes it just doesn't wanna. It fucks up, and you gotta reboot, and then you gotta reboot, depending on all the various different equipment and whatnot. You did tell me earlier this week that one of the disadvantages to this quarantine is finding an affordable webcam. Apparently.
Yes. Yeah, because I was looking for one for when we can actually be back in the basement again together to keep this going. And so I don't have to use the webcam that's actually on the laptop because it's just not nearly high enough quality for what I like. So it's one of those, because everyone's got to see this mug. So but yeah, I went on Best Buy, and they are like completely sold out of anything under like $200, which which I thought was crazy.
At least for $200, you'll get. I just saw my here, and I gotta adjust my hair a little bit. Anyway, I know. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
There's plenty of other reasons.
Yeah. Shut up. Anyway, at least once you. If you were to buy a $200 webcam, at least you'd get some really, really good video.
Hopefully, but yeah, can't really. I'm not really looking to invest that much into something that we're just doing for fun. We do this for fun. We don't do this to make money.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
And yeah, so there was that, and then I went on Amazon, and pretty much everything on Amazon is sold out as well.
Wow.
So,
it's just nuts. Like I said, this whole situation has just changed the way all of us are living our lives, and it is really, I don't know. It's really, really kind of like weird. I mean, it's just how we're buying, not just like, well, not so much essentials. I mean, like the essentials we can still go to the grocery store, pretty much get the essentials, but anything else, I mean, you got to make an appointment.
Yeah, well,
to go to places.
Paper products are are still kind of scarce.
Yeah, but not as bad as they were when this first started. I mean, Stella and I have actually been to the store a couple of times and gone and seen. Oh, they do have some toilet paper and they do have some paper towel. I mean, it's not tons of variety.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I
But
went
there
to
is
Kroger and I
some.
saw Kroger had the Kroger brand toilet paper.
Right. And we were at Walmart to pick up her prescriptions, and we always, the last couple of times we picked up a couple of things, and we stopped by the water, the excuse me, with the in the paper product aisle, and I saw at least it wasn't a barren wasteland, So
just
it's
mostly barren.
Right. Well, like I just noticed my comic shop is now reopening and to appointment. So apparently, you call them, you go, I'm going to come in and get my comics or whatever, and they'll go, okay, you can come in, and probably with limited number of people in the store at a time. Got to wear a mask and stuff like that. Comic book, the Diamond Distribution and the other distribution companies have gone back to work. So, like, for those of you guys who might be listening or are comic fans or whatever, the comic shops are reopening, and you should be able to go back to getting comics regularly soon. Although I did read today that apparently Diamond did screw up, fucked up some stuff, and there's a couple of comics that are going to be delayed like a week now.
Oh, so yeah.
It's like figures, they didn't say exactly what happened, but some books have been delayed now. So, fan-fucking-tastic. That's about normal. So how was the rest of your week, though?
I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was a nice long weekend. I took Friday off, so I had Friday and Monday off because of the holiday, and I really needed that. I needed that. It was good. It was refreshing. I was able to get a lot of gameplay done in MechWarrior. I've been playing MechWarrior online like crazy.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
actually, it came up on Discord.
Yeah.
Chris is playing. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm playing along with Renee. Is started playing, and so have at least 3 of our other friends. Steve over in Ireland has started playing. We actually created our own unit. So I tried getting the brown.
Cool.
I tried getting the brown coats, but that was already taken. So we are now the Serenity Valley Survivors Club.
Ah, okay, nice. I appreciate some Firefly references there, man, for sure.
Yep.
I've been meaning to binge that show pretty soon.
Yeah, it's been a little while for me too, and I've got the Blu-ray sitting out, and I'm like, yeah, I should start watching that again.
Yeah.
I just actually that's one of the other things. I just introduced Renee this weekend to Chuck, the old show.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we've watched like the first 5 episodes. We watched a couple episodes tonight, actually.
That's awesome. I've been meaning to get back rewatch that show. I'm watching so many things though right now. I mean, it's just it's hard to keep up. We can talk about it in a few minutes more in depth. But I got caught up on Harley Quinn, and I watched the first 2 episodes of Stargirl.
Yeah, I haven't watched Stargirl yet. That's on my list of things to do this week, is to watch those first 2 episodes.
No, I can give you a little brief, like kind of opinion of it in a few minutes. I figure when we get into it.
Okay.
One thing that I have noticed too is that people are watching the shit out of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes, I'm seeing everybody. Yeah, I'm seeing everybody. I never watched it. I catch a show here and there, and I thought it was an enjoyable anime. And it's one of those
it's actually not an anime. It's technically not an anime. It's an American-made cartoon.
So it's an animated. It's an animated show.
Yes, it is an animated show, but it's not an anime.
So I never actually caught it when it was on, and I'd catch episodes here and there, but I never really watched it. And I enjoyed the episodes when I saw them. So it's one of those that I'm like, I'll check it out.
I have never watched it mainly because I think when it was on, I think it was originally shown on Nickelodeon. I just wasn't all that interested, and then some friends were like, "Oh man, it's an amazing show, you gotta watch it." And I just had never gotten around to it. And now that it's on Netflix, so many people have said how amazing it is. So, and then how The Legend of Korra, which is its success or its sequel, was also really good. I'll have to get around to watching them, I think, eventually.
Now,
but I've got some other things that are going to take precedence, I think, first.
I have no interest in watching the movie.
Oh no, the movie, they know all the people that I know that enjoy Avatar: The Last Airbender have often said, do not watch the movie. Or if you do watch the movie, take it as a completely separate kind of thing. Don't associate it with the cartoon at all, because it's not. I had a friend once and said, it's it's an okay movie. It's a cool movie, as long as you don't associate it with the cartoon. If you've never seen the cartoon, you might enjoy the movie. So whatever.
I'm not a big fan of M. Night anyway, so.
Sure. Yeah. I like him sometimes. I like some of the stuff he's done. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking a new beer from Bell's. They put it out once a year. They just started last year, I believe. They used to call these. I don't know if this is replacing it or not, but they would come out with a sour beer every year that they would call Larry's Latest, and named after Larry Bell, the founder, and it would be a sour beer. Well, last year, one of the ones that they put out was I think it was actually Larry's Latest, and it was called Flamingo Fruit Fight. Well, this year they put out a new Flamingo Fruit Fight, and so that's what I'm drinking tonight. It is it is a tart ale brewed with passion fruit and lime. This fruit fight started when two flamingos walked into a bar. You wouldn't believe what happened next.
The first one didn't see it.
Yeah. So it is 5% ABV. Says it has a shelf life of 6 months. Trying to see if I can see when it was canned. There it is. It was canned in April 13th. So
okay.
But it has a very tart and fruity, a very fruity aroma. It's also very cloudy. It is very cloudy, cloudy yellow. It has a quite like, it's not a beer aroma at all. There's like no beer there. It's all fruit. And I'm gonna go ahead and take another sip here. It is very tart. It's not like pucker you up completely sour, but it actually has a good sour taste. If you like sour beers, it's a little bit more than like a Berliner Weiss, but not quite beyond that. So it's like a strong Berliner Weiss, I would say. And but the lime really comes through at the end. That's what I really get. Passion fruit, I don't know exactly what that tastes like. I'm guessing that's what the fruity flavor is I'm getting at the beginning. But then it goes into the sour lime at the end, and I actually really like this. I'll give this 4 bottle caps. Because it's cool. It's really tasty. I like a good sour, and on a hot day like today, a good sour beer is excellent.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's one of the few times that I really enjoy beer, is like when it's really fucking hot, and I think I've talked about it on the show before. It's really fucking hot, and the beer is really fucking cold, man. That's what I...
Yeah, but
that's when I'd be like...
Isn't it like the Missouri pea water that you actually like, that you actually drink when you say you drink beer?
The Missouri pea water?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's just like, when I do choose to have a beer, or when it tastes, any kind of beer kind of tastes good to me, like having a PBR or
PBR, I can get behind.
I used to drink Miller Genuine Draft. I think that was one of the ones that I would go to.
MGD.
Yeah, some MGD. I'd always kind of like Coors Light. But like I said, when I go, a beer sounds good, is when it's really fucking hot outside and the beer is really fucking cold.
Yeah, I can't do Miller products, unfortunately, because I tried drinking them when I was younger, and anytime I would drink any Miller product, I would get a headache. But MGD I actually liked when it first came out, because I thought it had a better taste than like Budweiser.
And regular Miller.
Yeah, and definitely better than regular Miller. Miller High Life is nasty. But anything I drink by Miller, I've gotten a headache. I haven't tried it in years because I don't really care for the American lagers anyway. But but yeah, I can't do those.
All right. Well, but I'm drinking. Basically, I'm not drinking anything tonight, but like yesterday and the day before, I had these. I've just been kind of, like I said, I bought some 6-packs and I've been kind of going through them, and gotta love the Rainbow Seeker and the Triple Jam from Blake's. Some of my favorite ciders, and just really fantastic. We've talked about them before, so I'm not really going to go into them, but Blake's ought to give us money, man. the amount of pushing we do of their product, I swear. But that's what I'm drinking, or I was drinking. Yeah. So I don't know. I say we kind of just jump right in here.
Sure.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, one of the big things is tomorrow we get our brand new streaming service. HBO Max launches tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm still unclear exactly, and maybe maybe I didn't look into it, but and maybe I can just kind of Google it. What it's going to, people that are already HBO subscribers, what that's going to entail.
Well, are you an HBO subscriber through your cable company, or are you an HBO Now subscriber?
I get HBO through Amazon.
Okay, then you are going to automatically be switched over tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
They reached a deal with Amazon, and they'd already reached a deal with Google, who I go through. And tomorrow, everything switches over. Your apps will switch over. All the apps are going to switch over to HBO Max. The one disadvantage is you can't really. I don't think you can take advantage of the sale that they had going, which was if you pre-ordered it, you could get it for like $11 a month for the first 12 months.
I see. Well, fuck it. It's all right.
But yeah, so tomorrow though you should have all of Friends, all of Big Bang Theory, all of I think the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is going to be on there.
Yeah, Fresh Prince has never been streamed anywhere, so that's a big one actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, other than the CBS app, Big Bang hasn't been either.
Well, yeah, you could always get the current season,
or at least the last 5 episodes.
Like 5 episodes, and then they would. Well, it kind of makes sense. I mean, Big Bang Theory was their biggest their biggest seller for the longest time.
Yeah, so leave it on your goddamn app so people can. That was the reason I got the CBS app, was so I could watch Big Bang Theory, and I couldn't watch it.
No, you got it for that and Star Trek.
Well, yeah, Star Trek was the only other reason, but it's one of those where I'm ready to just cancel it between Star Trek shows now.
Well, hopefully they're just gonna, they'll have a constant Star Trek show. One way or the other, there'll be some kind of Star Trek show on, and that's my goal. That's my hope, is that eventually they'll get it to the point where, Discovery will be on, and then that'll be done for seasons, and then Picard will come on, and then Strange New Worlds will come on, and that kind of thing, and the animated show that they're doing too. So, which looks funny from what I've seen so far. I don't know. We'll see. I hope it doesn't cost me a whole lot more. If it costs me a couple bucks more, then fine. But
it's supposed to be the same price.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
They're just basically converting everything over to HBO Max.
Well, they've talked about that there is going to be a lot of stuff on HBO Max. I mean, like 10,000 hours of material, new shows and movies that you couldn't get anywhere else.
Well, it's because we're getting the Time Warner library now.
Exactly.
That they pulled off of like Netflix a couple years ago and things like that. So
right.
And we're also getting all the DC stuff is moving.
Yeah. See, now my question is now do I just get rid of DC Online? I think I paid for DC Online for a year. So.
Well, and I did too, but the thing is that if you get rid of DC Online, what things that aren't moving are the shows. It's the movies that are moving.
Movies are moving. Some of the shows are, though. Doom Patrol will be on HBO Max.
Oh, will it?
Said that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. I'm going to keep it for now. We'll have to see.
Which Renee and I just started that this weekend too. We started watching Doom Patrol.
Oh, so fucking cool. Because it's so weird, but it's so good. I mean, they do such a great job kind of marrying that the weirdness of the Doom Patrol with, I mean, the Doom Patrol comic book more recently over the last, like, say 20, 30 years has been very odd. It's been one of those superhero comic books that was very well, it was a Vertigo book for the longest time, because and it was sort of in continuity but not. Like, if the Doom Patrol ever showed up in a Justice League book, it was usually for a weird reason, and it was usually something surreal. And so they did a really good job kind of expressing that on the show, and I got a big kick out of that show, man. It was really, really fucking good, and I think you're gonna like it. But you do have to. Well, what do you think so far?
So far, I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's been good. It's one of those though that I'm like, all right, it's starting to ramp up. I mean, we only watched the first couple episodes, but it's like, all right, but well, if I have an hour to spend, we didn't really feel like watching it the other night, and that's how we got into Chuck, and now we're kind of really getting into that again. So it's gonna be one of those we're gonna have to bounce back and forth between that and Chuck.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that, man. Just, like, that's what I've been doing with some of my shows lately too. It's just like a couple episodes here, a couple episodes there, and um, speaking of, like, I was bouncing around Netflix the other night. I was like, I need to get some of this shit off my queue. Like, I have so much stuff on my Netflix queue,
Me
and
too.
on all of my queues. Well, one of the things that's really easy to watch or listen to or whatever while you're doing other things are comedy shows, comedy, like common stand-ups and stuff. And so I watched a few stand-ups, and there's this one that's Comedians of the World, and it's like half-hour comedies, Netflix comedy specials that are kind of all grouped together according to country. And so I watched the ones from America. There was Nick Swardson and Chris D'Elia and a couple other guys. And then there was four from Canada, one of which was the guy who plays Squirrely Dan on Letterkenny. And it was laugh out loud hilarious. Like, his stand-up was really fucking funny. I was sitting here, I was playing City Heroes, and I'm listening to it on my other monitor, and I'm just laughing. I just stopped. Because I was laughing so hard, like I'm fucking up my combat. I was like, I gotta stop for a second. And so yeah, if you get a second, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head here. I can look it up real quick. But yeah, it was on. That's the wrong one.
Comedians of the World or something, you said?
Yeah, it was called Comedians of the World, or Comedians. I don't know. Look it up on my Netflix. But yeah, just I wanted to look up his name. Mm-hmm. It's like something Kevin. Give me a second here. But anyway, I've been doing that lately. Like, yeah, trying to get some stuff off of my list, because I'm just like, man, I've got so much stuff on all of my queues.
Yep.
On Netflix and know that HBO Max is going to have, like, I'm going to have a shit ton of stuff to watch on that now too.
My problem is the other thing we've been looking. Renee and I are looking for a new half-hour show to watch, because when we just want to watch something while we eat dinner, or we have a half an hour before we're going to go to bed or something. We're like, hey, let's throw something on.
It's K. Trevor Wilson, by the way.
K. Trevor Wilson. Okay. But so we're looking for that next show, and one of the ones that I never really watched when it was on, but it's one I've always heard good things about that I've thought about checking out, is Scrubs.
I always enjoyed Scrubs. I used to watch it on and off. That was one of those ones, again, that, I didn't always watch consistently, but I would watch here and there. Like, I know that there were seasons that I like, maybe I'd miss half a season, but I'd go back, and then you'd watch it on rerun a lot. I could watch it on rerun a lot, and because it was on Comedy Central or whatever. And Comedians of the World, yeah, that's what it's called, Comedians of the World. And
Love, Death, and Robots is awesome.
Oh yeah, Love, Death, and Robots, yeah, absolutely. Who mentioned that one?
CD.
Oh, okay, yeah, totally. I couldn't agree more. That was an amazing show. I cannot wait for more. I mean, it got renewed like immediately.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of renewals, Fox or FX came out with their list of shows that are going to be renewed.
Oh, right on.
One of which is What We Do in the Shadows. It's getting a third season.
I did. I heard that. Yeah, Stella posted it actually on Facebook. She's so excited, and it totally makes sense. I mean, the show is killing in the ratings. I mean, it's destroying.
Yeah,
It's one of those Hulu shows that just they I think it was just kind of a surprise. You know, they
yeah,
were like, "Holy shit!"
yeah. They're saying
Um,
that one and basically all their big shows. Archer is coming back. American Horror Story is coming back.
yeah,
Atlanta, Dave. It's all.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine also got a ninth season, so that's kind of cool. That's not in
Uh,
that category,
yeah,
but
but it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is getting its 15th season.
wow. You know, that's one of those ones that another one that it's on my queue on Hulu, and I've meant to get around to watch because almost every time I watched the show, it made me laugh, but I never watched it
See,
consistently.
the couple I've watched, I think I watched maybe one, maybe two, but I turned it on and I was watching it and I'm like, I have no fucking clue what is going on or what this show is supposed to be about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're basically just four pieces of shit.
Mm.
They're four people that are kind of shit people that are, but they try.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
To get better.
Oh, okay, see, because that's what I figured. That's pretty much what Seinfeld was just four people who were pieces of shit that.
I mean, I think that's true, but I think they're definitely different types. You know, like I don't know. At least Seinfeld, most of them were actually like relatively successful in some aspects of their life, but it's almost like the people on It's Always Sunny are complete losers. I don't know, but like I said, I've watched it a few times. And there's a few times that the show has really had some serious heart too, you know.
Yeah. Kind of the same as Seinfeld, but despicable.
Yeah. CD, I think you nailed it on that one there. Pretty good there.
But another show that's coming back is Fargo is getting a 4th season, and it's going to star Chris Rock.
Fargo.
Yeah.
It's going to have Chris Rock, huh?
Yep.
See, there's a show that I've heard consistent, awesome stuff about, and I just have not gotten around to, you know.
Yeah.
It's Fargo.
I haven't seen the movie either. So
the movie is fucking amazing. That movie is awesome.
That's what I've heard.
It's a dark comedy that other dark comedies are measured by. It's messed up, but it's a really good movie. I had a little something that just kind of popped up. Apparently, Twitter is now labeling Donald Trump's tweets with a fact check for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the action comes after years of criticism that social media companies have allowed the president to push misinformation unchecked. Twitter on Tuesday slapped a fact-check label on President Trump's tweets for the first time in response to long-standing criticism that the company is too hands-off when it comes to policing misinformation and falsehoods from world leaders. The move, which escalates tensions between Washington and Silicon Valley in an election year, was made in response to 2 Trump tweets over the past 24 hours. The tweets falsely claim that mail-in ballots are fraudulent. Twitter's label says, get the facts about mail-in ballots, and redirects users to news articles about Trump's unsubstantiated claim. Yeah, he was just, he made a couple of tweets that were like, they're bullshit, they're going to, they'll get stolen, they'll get rigged, they'll get...
and he did that. He also said that Michigan sent out mail-in ballots for the next 2 elections, and they didn't.
Right. When she did not, the governor, not the governor, but the Secretary of State elected to send out applications
for mail-in ballots. Yep.
It's holy crap, dude. I mean, we at Nerds with Alcohol don't like to get overly political, but we got to dip our toe in every once in a while. And we've also made it clear that we are not Trump supporters. But I got to say, well, bravo to Twitter for
stepping up and
stepping up, because he has been.
The thing is they can't do it just for him. They have to do it for everyone. They have to do it for Biden too, because I'll tell you what, that's not a much better choice.
No, not at all. But I don't think Biden is really. He's not tweeting like this. He's not doing this kind of thing. If he does, then yes, absolutely, put a fact check on it. Absolutely. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Biden either, but I've said this before. It's kind of like they're offering us the same shit sandwich that we've been eating for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And instead they're giving us a mayonnaise sandwich.
Yeah.
Here's a mayonnaise sandwich instead of the shit sandwich that you've been eating for the last 4 years. And I'm like, well,
I don't know. They might just be putting some mustard on the shit
Yeah,
sandwich. Is all it really is. It's
that too. Maybe just have a little bit of Hell,
here.
it works on
We'll give you a side of pickle with it.
yeah, some hot sauce on your. So
But
anyway, let's move on from that. Anyway, one thing that I think the news was released. I think before we got the chance, or right after we did this show last week, is that the Snyder Cut of the Justice League is going to be released.
yeah, I heard that.
Now it's going to be on HBO Max. It's going to be released on HBO Max. I'm hoping that for an eventual Blu-ray release, so that I can add it to my beautiful Blu-ray collection out there. But yeah, Snyder's getting $30 million from Warner Brothers to basically finish his cut of the Justice League. There was a huge fan outcry. For those of you guys who maybe didn't know about this, there was a huge fan outcry to see the Snyder cut of Justice League. Zack Snyder, he had a vision for the DC cinematic universe. He had done Man of Steel. He had done Batman versus Superman. He had didn't do Wonder Woman, but he did have some. I think he had a producer credit. Had some influence over it. And then he did Justice League. But he was about halfway through the filming or 2/3 way through the filming, and he had a personal tragedy in his family. I believe his daughter had died. So he had to pull out, back away. And they got Joss Whedon to complete the film. Now, Joss Whedon, one of my all-time favorite directors and content creators, a lot of people feel that he took the dark tone that Zack Snyder was kind of working with and lightened it up and kind of ruined what they were doing. Now, personally, I liked the Justice League. I thought it was a solid film. I got a good B. It wasn't as good as like Avengers or some of the things that Marvel had turned out, but I didn't hate it. Still, I think I'm on the team of I'd really like to see the Zack Snyder version. I'd like to see what he was going to do with it. They've also talked about the fact that this movie could potentially be 4 hours long, or possibly be broken down into a 6 hour or into 6 hours into a mini-series.
Like 3-part mini-series or something?
Yeah, or 2 or 6 episodes.
Oh.
So like a 6-hour thing. Like I said, apparently they're not doing any reshoots with the original, like the main cast members. Although Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill have both expressed a lot of support about this. I think it would take a lot to get Affleck back in the Batsuit again.
Oh yeah.
And I think even Jason Momoa, has also expressed support for this as well. So there has been a lot of support and a lot of positivity towards finishing this. Like I said, he got $30 million to basically finish this special effects and do some minor reshoots and re-recordings of certain lines and of some of the various other actors. In fact, the one actor that apparently did play Darkseid did post on his Twitter feed that, hey, yeah, I played Darkseid in Zack Snyder's film, which we never got to see. We saw Steppenwolf instead. Mm-hmm. Personally, I'm excited. It's supposed to come out in early 21 on HBO Max. It should be an interesting thing. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, so now CD just brought up a good point. What is this actually considered a director's cut, or is it a redo?
I think it's going to be considered more like a director's cut, or more of like Superman 2, the Donner cut. Like you can get, like I have a Blu-ray of or it might be a DVD, I can't remember, but of the Donner cut of Superman 2, because Dick Donner, who directed Superman 1, was working on Superman 2, and at some point, I don't know why, but he was replaced with another director, and the director finished Superman 2. And then 25 years later, 30 years later, whatever it was, Dick Donner did his own cut of the movie, and including scenes that were not included in the film, scenes that were not finished. Some scenes were just like were like screen tests
Mm-hmm.
and stuff that were included into the cut, and it's actually kind of cool. It's a pretty cool cut. I wouldn't say it's better, but I would say it's a pretty cool cut. The Donner cut is pretty awesome, but it is also cool to kind of see and see like what the original director, the original visionary of the film is, um, are what they intended. What they
Mm-hmm.
were, so.
Um, so speaking of Momoa, while I'm thinking about it, he was just in town here.
Yes,
He was filming a commercial
it's like
in
2 miles away.
It was across the street from Brad, Renee's boss at B Nectar.
Oh
It was
shit!
across the street from his house.
See, I heard he wasn't doing any filming. I heard he was just visiting some friends.
Now they said he was filming like some motorcycle commercial or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I did see on a Facebook post that he walked into somebody in Ferndale's business and looking at bikes. I don't know if he meant motorcycles or maybe bicycles, because there is a bicycle shop in Ferndale.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was right in Ferndale. A friend of mine that I work with at the parade company, Sharon, her daughter was right there too, and they were like, "Hey, she's a graduate. She's celebrating her graduation or whatever." And Jade was like waved at him and stuff, and I guess when the word got out, and he didn't want to draw a crowd during the quarantine,
right.
So he was like, "I get out." I heard he wasn't filming anything. His people said he wasn't they weren't filming anything.
Maybe he wasn't.
It was just his people said that they were. He was just visiting a friend because he's got friends in the Detroit area.
Yep.
I think he has some family in the Detroit area too, or in Michigan. And he has stated several times how much he really enjoys Michigan. In fact, he spent his 35th birthday here and going on a pub crawl and stuff. So.
Well, I mean, he's talked about opening a brewery here.
He did. He talked about opening a brewery several years ago, and he did say it would be several years down the road by the time he did that. So, but that's pretty wild, you know? I mean, like I said, I live in Hazel Park. I am literally 2 blocks out of Ferndale. And I'm just like, man, I could get in my car and start driving around. What the fuck, man?
He is a really nice guy. From the little bit that I've interacted with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I met him briefly at one of the Comic-Cons. He was a very nice guy. Big guy, but not as big as you would think.
No. And he also wears big boots. A lot. When I saw him, he had some big boots on.
Well, he's still over 6 feet.
He's like 6'3" or 6'4", I think.
Yeah, but he's got if he wears an inch heel on a boot, I mean, and then he also wears big hats sometimes.
Well, and that's the thing. When I saw him, he was wearing a skull cap. You could see his tattoos, which you hadn't seen on any of the shows he was on or anything like that before. So I didn't even recognize him. I thought he was the bodyguard for Alan Tudyk and Michael Rooker.
Yeah, that was pretty funny too. He was like, is that the bodyguard? No, that's fucking Jason Momoa.
Yeah, he had a chain wallet, everything. I mean, it was...
Yeah. He's a cool dude. Yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys that I totally want to hang out beer with or what.
Dude, I watched the guy open beer bottles with empty beer bottles. And exactly. I want to know I want to see what kind of sorcery that is.
Exactly. Let's see, what else? So that was pretty cool. Did we talk about Ruby Rose leaving?
We did. We talked about that last week.
I thought we talked about it. Now, we got a little more news has been revealed about that. Apparently, it wasn't as amicable as everybody was making it out. Everybody's playing nice. Everybody's being very, very nice and everything. But there's been some rumors coming out of the camp that it was more of a mutual breakup as opposed to a surprise. Apparently, Ruby was not happy with the schedule being the main actress for the show, for a show like that. Apparently, it is a pretty grueling production for her. I mean, she's in damn near every scene, so there's a lot of work and a lot of night shoots. She was more so used to more limited television, like when she was on Orange is the New Black, or in movie roles where she's you're not necessarily working for 4 months straight or whatever, and 5 months straight, whatever it is, every day or 6 days a week. It's a pretty grueling schedule, but so they were saying, yeah, it was more of a like, because she wasn't happy, she wasn't particularly pleasant, and it wasn't because of the injury, it wasn't because of any of the physical stuff, although possibly the injury made the long working hours harder on her. I don't know. But yeah, so as much as I like to say, hey, I like Ruby Rose and I liked her in that role, maybe it's best that she move on if she's not happy. Now, they did say Stephanie Beatriz they are looking for somebody in the LGBTQ community to take over the role. And Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine plays Rosa, and she has expressed a great deal of interest in playing the role. And I think she'd be cool. I mean, she definitely is a lot different, has a much different look than her, but I think she'd be cool. And she is LGBTQ. She came out as bisexual a couple of years ago, both on the show and in her life. So that's pretty cool. I'd say she'd be pretty awesome.
She
although
looks
they say it would, yeah. And they also said it would be. I mean, they said it might cause a conflict with her shooting schedule with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, though. So who knows? We'll see. But anyway, there was a little bit of news there I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
I did see another article today too about David Ayer. Apparently, the guy who directed Suicide Squad would love to produce a director's cut. He feels like his final cut of the film, or like he didn't get the cut he wanted. It says, in light of Warner Media's decision to put a hashtag Snyder Cut edition of Justice League into production, Suicide Squad writer-director David Ayer has come out arguing for a similar treatment to his 2016 film. My cut would be easy to complete, he tweeted in response to a question about it. It would be incredibly cathartic for me. It's exhausting getting your ass kicked for a film that got the Edward Scissorhands treatment. The film I made has never been seen. So I don't know what that means. The Edward Scissorhands treatment, maybe because it was cut up.
Yeah, that's what I think he's saying. It was cut up, which I got from watching that movie. I thought it seemed kind of jumpy.
Yeah.
And so I would like to see his actual vision for that, because I thought it had some potential, and I thought that it just jumped around too much, and I wasn't crazy about the final product.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's interesting that he states Ayer's Suicide Squad went through extensive reshoots, according to Deadline, and the writer-director has mentioned various times that there were numerous deleted scenes to the 2016 film. Warner Brothers has a history of releasing director's cut editions of its DC superhero films, going back to the 2006 release of Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, and the upcoming release of Zack Snyder's Justice League. A sequel to Ayer's Suicide Squad by writer-director James Gunn is currently in post-production for an August 6, 2021 release. It's in post-production, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So I'd love to see a director's cut of Suicide Squad. I'd buy that again, because I think you're right. I liked the film overall. I gave it about a B, maybe B minus. I don't know. I mean, there were performances in it that I liked, and obviously I really liked Harley. I liked Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I liked Will Smith as Deadshot. Some of the other performances I really dug. But it did jump around a lot, and it was kind of it did seem disjointed. So I would totally love to see a director's cut. I liked Leto as the Joker. I thought, and we've discussed this before. I thought he was his performance was.
But I
cool.
thought he was kind of just shoehorned in there. He did not need to be in there.
I think he was just kind of shoehorned in there because Harley was in there. So I think maybe we lost some of his best scenes in that cut. So what are you gonna do? So also some news that I saw today. They are finally working on a sequel to Labyrinth.
I was going to bring this up. Why? My question is why?
Because it's quarantine and people have nothing to do but sit and think about ideas and what we're going to do.
We don't need a sequel to Labyrinth 25 years or 35 years later.
There's talk about apparently
45 years, 35 years later.
Something like that. Yeah, they have a director, Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson has signed on to direct TriStar Pictures' long-gestating sequel to Jim Henson and George Lucas's Labyrinth, according to Deadline. Maggie Levin, Into the Dark, My Valentine, has reportedly signed on to write the script, and if this report is accurate, they would replace screenwriter Nicole Perlman and director Fede Alvarez, who were announced in 16 and 17 as working on the project. So it's been in the works for a while. So Derrickson dropped out of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness due to off-cited creative differences with Marvel Studios. So apparently Jennifer Connelly is rumored to be on board, and a lot of people are like speculating now, like who the hell would play.
That's the thing.
Jareth.
You can't get anybody else to play Jareth.
Replacing David Bowie is a tough thing, you know. So, I mean, would they even have the Goblin King? Would it be something completely different? Who knows? As long as the Henson Company is involved and George Lucas is involved, you know, I'm glad that they've got the original. Hopefully, they got the original guys involved. I mean, well, Jim Henson isn't involved, obviously, but the Henson Company would be.
Yes, Brian Henson is one of the producers, and is it Linda Henson is also one of the producers.
Okay, well, cool. Okay, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. I thought that was interesting.
Yep, we'll see if it actually goes anywhere.
The problem with it is, I think some of these they're making movies, sequels to some of these movies that either didn't need a sequel, or it's been so long to have that from the original that a sequel is almost like it's so much of a money grab, you know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's this wonderful thing that people loved from when they were kids. Let's make a sequel so that those grown-up kids can now be like, oh my god, I have to see this. You know, it depends. You know, like Ghostbusters was originally meant to be a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they made the 2 sequels, and then they made the 3rd one that wasn't as well received, but you know, and I think it got bad shake, unfortunately. I mean,
Ghostbusters only had 1 sequel. They had 2 movies, 1 sequel.
Correct. You're right. And then, but then the All Lady Ghostbusters movie, I thought that got a bad rap. There were parts of it that was really fucking funny. There was some really hilarious shit in the movie. I mean, it was a lot of really funny. I mean, just so many people were like, "Oh, this all chick version," blah blah blah. I mean, it was so toxic. There's so much toxic attention to it because they're like, "This is not my Ghostbusters," and who are these ladies? We're the guys, and you're like, come on, dudes, don't.
I just didn't think it needed a reboot, so that was why I didn't see it.
And that was more of what it was. It was more so kind of a reboot. Now the new one we're seeing is not a reboot. It is a true sequel, and it is being, the original creators are very much involved. So hopefully we'll see that. I just don't like some of these things where it is a obvious and serious, like, okay, this is just a cash grab, man. This is just like taking advantage of us, and if it's good, if it ends up being good, then great, but I'm cautious about some of these other things, so but that's all I kind of wanted to say about that. It was just, we'll see hopefully. Yep. I mean, like, look at what they did with the Dark Crystal TV show, the show that was on Netflix. Got nothing but rave reviews on. I haven't watched it yet, but I've had a lot of friends watch it. Said it was amazing. It was incredible.
It's slow.
So
it is slow.
Is it slow?
Yes.
But I've heard so many good things about it.
I mean, it was good. It's a lot like the movie. The movie was slow.
Sure.
So it's one of those. It's very much. It seemed. And I watched like the first 3 episodes. I haven't gotten into it more than that. Mostly because a lot of times I need something that's more fast paced. But my limited attention span. But it's one of those things where it was very true to the movie for me, as far as the feel. Because they were using the physical puppets and things like that. Right. So,
okay.
And Skeksis are still creepy as fuck.
They are. they are always, and they will always be creepy as fuck. I'm like, ugh. Like that. I remember watching that and as a child and being like visibly and feeling like viscerally like creeped out by the Skeksis and the Gartham particularly.
Hmm.
And yeah, so always been kind of creeped out by them.
So
Uh,
this Friday, Netflix has a new show,
yeah,
Space Force.
Space Force.
It's
I'm actually really excited about this.
which I
I'm really
saw.
entertained.
Okay, so I saw a review. I just briefly kind of touched on it on Nerdist today, and the show comes out on Friday. It stars Steve Carell. It's from the creators of The Office.
Yes.
It's actually Steve Carell and John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Which honestly, from the preview I watched, the trailer I watched on Netflix today, John Malkovich looks like he may be the funniest fucking thing in this show.
That guy's got some. He's got some serious comedic chops, man. That
Oh,
guy can be
yeah.
extremely hilarious.
I thought he was hilarious in what was it, Red?
Yes,
The
Red.
Retired
Mm-hmm.
Extremely Dangerous.
Yes, exactly.
I thought he was great in that. But the show basically is about this. The president creates this new
Branch
of the military. It's the Space Force, and they appoint Carell to head it up.
Yeah, Steve Carell is apparently a newly appointed general.
Yeah.
And so they're like, because he's the new guy, and they look at him and it's like, and you're gonna run it. What? Yeah, and
Diedrich Bader is like the head of the army, or and I forget who else. There's a lot of faces I recognize. Lisa Kudrow is Steve Carell's wife.
Yes, yes. I'm excited. I'm gonna definitely check it out. I think it looks hilarious. I mean, anything Steve Carell is attached to.
Yeah. What Nerdist said is that it has to be funnier to actually be able to keep people's interest. They said funnier.
Funnier.
Yeah, they said it really wasn't as funny as they expected it to be. They said it's definitely not The Office.
Oh, okay.
Which The Office is one of those shows that I've always heard great things about, and I've tried to get into several times, and it's just not my thing. It just I'm like, I want to like the show, but it's just one where I'm like, okay, it was okay. I don't laugh at it.
It's one of those ones where I watched periodically, and I usually almost always laughed about it, but I never, once again, like some of these other sitcoms, I never got into long term. It is on my Netflix queue. It's going to be going off Netflix, I think at the end of the year, and they're going to be going over to HBO Max, I believe, either HBO Max or the Peacock. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's probably the Peacock because that was an NBC show, I believe.
Okay. But I always heard such hilarious stuff. And when you look at the stars that came out of The Office, I mean, it was like talent farm. You know, I mean, it was really, really good. So we'll see. I think Space Force. I mean, just the idea of it. Just I love the fact that they were like Donald Trump said, we're going to make a Space Force, and then some writer in Hollywood, oh my God, that's our next show. Let's get Carell. Get Carell on the line. Call Carell. We need him. And I think it's going to be potentially really hilarious.
Yeah, I can't believe that there's a show out already. That's the thing. The immediate turnaround on that.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Steve, we got your next big show, man. We're sending it right to Netflix. It's going to be on. You're going to be able to swear. You're going to be able to, whatever you want to do. And it's going to be, what is it going to be? It's going to be Space Force, man. Oh, I'm in. I'm in. So,
but yeah, it looks like it could be funny. From the trailer I saw, it looks like it could be kind of humorous. So,
speaking of Netflix, another movie that just went on to Netflix, Uncut Gems, which is Adam Sandler's kind of tour de force. I haven't watched it yet, but he got a lot of attention on at the Golden Globes, and possibly at the Oscars. I can't remember, but he got nominated for a few things. People are saying some of Adam Sandler's best work,
Huh.
particularly considering that it is not like some goofy comedy. It's actually like a kind of a darker turn, and I think it does have some comedic elements, but it's not. It's not, Waterboy or Little Nicky
Mm-hmm.
or
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison. It's more of a serious movie. So, Uncut Gems
More
on
like
Netflix.
Punch Drunk Love.
I don't know. I actually never saw that one.
He got rave reviews for that too because it was it was like his first serious role.
Right. I remember that. So anyway, that just dropped onto Netflix as well. So I wanted to talk a little bit. What?
No, I was just going to say real quick. One of the other things that I had read recently is that they're now talking that Bill and Ted Face the Music may go straight to VOD.
Really?
Yeah. Partially, I think, because of the whole coronavirus thing, that they're just going to drop it right to video on demand and skip the theaters completely.
Well, I'm still kind of old school about, I hope that eventually we'll see a DVD or a Blu-ray or something, which usually that is the case. But hey, man, if that's what they got to do, that's what they got to do. Quarantine and COVID-19 has changed everything. It changed a lot of the ways we've lived, a lot of the ways we're entertaining ourselves. So that's just what we're going to have to deal with. Well, there are going to probably be a lot of movies that don't end up going to the theaters. And honestly, I mean, we may even lose theaters altogether or lose a lot of them. A theater theater release may become something that is a little more rare or a little more specialized, like only, I mean, they're saying like AMC, some of the movie theaters, some of the movie theater companies may go under because of this, because of the quarantine. So, maybe only the biggest movies will get theatrical releases.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, this could be the resurgence of the drive-in theaters.
Oh, man. I think that would be great. That would be great to see a drive-in theater again. I haven't been to a drive-in theater since I was a kid.
Yeah, me either. But yeah, I think you can maintain social distance. You can still go see a movie on a big screen.
Yep, exactly.
And with the technology now, you basically just listen to it on your car radio, so...
Exactly. Yeah, they did that even when we were kids, man. I mean,
not when I was a kid.
I remember
we had the big speakers that hooked on the windows.
Yeah, we still had that, but then I think if I remember one of the last times that I went, we just tuned in a radio station basically that they were broadcasting from, and I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking neat. You just get it through your speakers in your car, which are generally going to be a lot better than the fucking bullshit speaker that you just hang on your fucking window. So, you know what? Something I wanted to mention. I posted it on our group, on the Facebook group. So a longtime listener and big supporter of the show. Somebody who's been on the show when we did our mobile show at Bottoms Up at Ren Fair.
That was a great show too. That was a great show. Great show.
Honest to God, some of the most fun I've ever had doing my shows. My friends tried to get me hammered. I was sick, dude. I remember quickly. I was like getting over. I was trying not to be sick and whatnot. I had like a cold or whatever.
You thought you got a glass of water, a great big old plastic glass,
huge glass, a big old tumbler, right? Like something you'd normally put a big thing of, make a big thing of Pepsi or whatever, filled with vodka.
It had ice.
That must have been an ice. It must have been a $30 drink. A bunch of my friends tipped in. They said, "Oh, okay, yeah, I guess I'll have some water and whatever." And I take a sip, and I'm like,
your reaction when you did that was hilarious.
And it was hilarious too because my buddy Chris and my buddies Chris and Bud are in the back, and they're like, ah! 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 laughing their asses off, and I'm like, you guys are a bunch of motherfuckers. So Yeah, big old thing of vodka. But anyways, I digress. It was a great show. We had a great time. We had Maria Christian, the entertainment director of the Michigan Ren Fair. An old friend Dale, former jouster, he sat in. And we had Pictus sat in as
Yep.
a drum and pipe band. They were great. But we also had the Rogue Blades sat
Yep.
in. And they were really fantastic, really funny guys. And Dave Kish has been a big supporter of this show since we
Since the
started.
beginning.
He
Yep.
also had a podcast, yeah, at the very beginning. He had a podcast, that he still, I think he does still occasionally do with Jamie. They're not particularly, they're not like, I don't want to say like they're not consistent. I don't know. They don't record every week. They're both busy guys, you know. And but still, that was a great podcast too. If you ever got a chance to listen to it, Renaissance guys, I believe. I'm sorry, Dave, I'm completely blanking on it. But talking about beloved movies, they pick a beloved movie that they had that they loved as kids, and we talk about it. Anyway, Dave, unfortunately, like several years ago, or not several years ago, I think it was last year, he moved to Michigan. He was living in the Toledo area, moved to Midland, Michigan, and well, he got his house got caught in the flood that just happened a couple of days ago. For those of you guys who don't know, some levees broke,
A
or
dam.
two different
Yeah.
dams
Yep.
failed because we had some massive rains and had massive raining and whatnot in the last few days. I guess some bad decisions were made, and two dams failed and flooded out a huge area. It actually was declared a disaster. FEMA has been sent in, but Donald Trump actually was in town, I think, in the Detroit area when all this was going down. And well, Dave's house has been pretty much destroyed. He and his whole family have been displaced. He's got two kids and his wife who recently beat cancer, and is still kind of recovering from that. Their family is recovering from that. Um, his house is a tri-level. The entire lower level was with water up to like 4 or 5 feet up on the
It went.
up
It went.
the
It
water
went
even
6 inches or so up into the next level.
up into the second level. Thankfully, the bedrooms that were on the third level were safe, but they have lost a lot of personal like stuff, a lot of their keepsakes and whatnot. The basement was completely flooded all the way to the top of the top of the stairs. Dave is also a writer. He's been writing books based on the Rogue Blades and the characters that they've created. He lost around 500 copies of his second book. And they just pretty much all had to be destroyed and thrown away. So I did post a link to the GoFundMe that his sister-in-law has set up. By now, I would imagine that the GoFundMe has probably hit its target.
It hit its goal before last night.
Yeah, it was pretty great. I mean, I donated myself big.
I did too.
And I was able to, and it was interesting. Like they were at like 86,000, and then like within 10 minutes they were at 9,400. Or excuse me, 8,600, and within 10 minutes they were at like I at 9,400. It was right after I posted about it too. I would hope that we might have had something to do with it, but I don't think so. I think
I was outside when I saw it because I was making dinner on the grill because it was a nice night, and
right.
I saw it. And I'm like, oh well, I'll do that when I get in the house. And a little while later, I went, oh yeah, I wanted to do that, and I went and grabbed the thing and looked it up, and they had hit their goal right then. It was showing that it was at the goal, so I actually put them over the goal.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, and so like I said, I mean, just because they hit their goal doesn't mean they couldn't still use some help or more help. It's I don't know what their insurance situation is. Flood insurance is usually not always.
According to the thing, it says they do have insurance.
Okay, they do have insurance, but it doesn't mean they don't still need help. They need help making the deductible, and of course, there's going to be the cost of living outside of their home while the home is rebuilt. All of the things that they're going to have to replace. I don't know exactly all of the things that might have been destroyed, but I mean, like there was a computer on the main floor that's probably destroyed. Different things like that. So if you can make a donation Please do. I mean, we don't want to put. They are just now. They are over their top. They are at 10,000, almost 10,200. They have raised the goal to 12,000 now. So, maybe we can get some more people to donate further. Dave, our hearts go out to you and to your family. I mean, yeah, really, honestly, to have a drink for you, man, because it's we really our hearts kind of go out to you. I mean, I've been watching on Facebook the videos that he and his wife have been posting. Thank you, Kelly, and keeping us updated, Kelly and Dave. And it's just tragic. It's just sad. I mean, all of it, like he's lost, like photographs and family stuff. I mean, anything the stuff that you put in a basement, storage stuff that you put in a basement is gone. And apparently, a lot of his Ren Fair garb. He didn't even know where his swords were, because like a lot of stuff in the garage were all it's all organized. It was all in the garage and stuff. And when the water came in and just kind of the water level rose, things just fell off of the, the shelves, and shelves fell forward, and everything just was destroyed. So, once again, our hearts go out to you. If there is anything you guys can do to help, please do help the Kishes. They certainly deserve it. So, I actually got a phone call. It was really cool today. A text on Facebook earlier. A friend was like, "Hey, we couldn't find your phone number. Can you give us a call?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I called him. It's an old buddy, Derek. I met him years and years ago at Ren Fair, and then he's been involved with Theater Bazaar since I started too. And he called me up and he said, "Hey, what's the story about your friend that was displaced from the flood?" I go, "Oh, my friend Dave. Well, his family's been displaced. The house got flooded. He goes, "Well, what can I do?" And apparently, Derek and his friends were driving out to that area with they loaded the van up with tools and whatever, just all kinds of different supplies, and they were going to go out to that area. And I said, "Well, I don't know for sure, but Dave had a crew out to the house over the weekend and whatever, was able to get things cleaned up. I don't know what kind of work he needs, but I told him that I would look into it and pass on the information if need be." So, Dave, honestly, I know you got a lot. You're kind of being besieged by people saying, "What can we do? What can we do?" Really, honestly, man, if there is anything that can be done, if there is anything we can do, please let us know. Beyond even just donation. I mean, I can drive out and help clean up if need be. I mean, I'm not doing a whole lot right now. So, anyways, I just wanted to reiterate that. I mean, Dave is a really great guy, and he's been a huge supporter of me personally, and of our show. When I talked about getting involved with performing at festival again with Oliver the Ogre, he was a huge support about it. He loved it. We talked about it. He messaged me personally, and we talked about it, and we played at festival. And I mean, he's really, honest to God, an amazing human being, and I'd really love to see him get all the help he needs. So, and that's what we're here for, right? We're here to help each other, or help our friends and everything else. So, anyway, we should move on.
Yeah. So, last week, on May 21st, it marked the 40th anniversary of the theatrical release of Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
The 40th?
40th anniversary. 40th? Yeah.
I thought it was 43.
No, that's Star Wars. That was yesterday. Yesterday was Star Wars 43rd. Empire Strikes Back, last week on the 21st, it was their 40th anniversary of the theatrical release.
Wow. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Makes me feel fucking old. Yeah, exactly. I'm not old.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, I mean, it's one of those examples of like, our age right there, just some of these beloved movies. I participated over the last few days, the last week and a half. I did the whole 10 movies a day thing, and I got you to do it too. And I posted a movie poster of a beloved movie, on Facebook, and then I got other people to do it too, and it was fun. It was kind of a good trip down memory lane because what I was trying to do was not just post like necessarily all my favorite movies, but they were all movies that meant a lot to me. And there were also movies that were an example of an entire genre or an entire like catalog. Like I posted Clerks 2 because I really liked that movie. And in many ways it is kind of superior to Clerks 1. And it's representative of the fact that I love Kevin Smith's movies. Most of them anyway.
Yep.
There's a few stinkers in there.
Well, the Jersey series I love.
Yeah, exactly. The Jerseyverse or the Viewist Universe is what they call it.
Yeah.
But once he started to kind of get away from that, we started seeing some
Zack and Miri was great too.
Zack and Miri was great. Red State was really good. That was his first kind of foray into doing like more of a horror movie. Unfortunately, then we have things like Tusk and Yoga Hosers in there.
Yeah, I watched Yoga Hosers. That was just a vehicle for his daughter.
It was him and his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter. Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Not everything's gonna be golden. But I haven't watched the reboot, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot yet. It's sitting on my shelf. I'm probably
that was so much better than I expected it to be. I mean, I expected it to be all right because it's Kevin Smith, but it was so good.
Yeah. So what I'll have to watch that before the next show. Maybe next week we can do a true review of it, and that'd be great. So anyway, a lot of the movies that I posted were about like, hey, I love this particular director, I love this trilogy or this grouping, but it definitely did make me feel kind of old a few times because a lot of the movies that I posted about most of them honestly were well over a decade old, if not much older than that. Let me see here. I posted. Let's just go. We can go through them real quick. It was just kind of interesting to note. Computer running a little slow. Like I had Clerks 2. I posted. I did the Lord of the Rings trilogy poster. X-Men, Army of Darkness, Highlander, the Batman from 1988. Last Crusade, Superman, Goonies, Return of the Jedi. I mean, all of these movies are quite old comparatively.
Yeah.
I think maybe Clerks 2 might have been the newest one, and they came out in like 2004 or something.
I think the newest one I did in mine was Dark Knight, and so that would have still even been like close to
over 10 years old.
No, it was 2012, wasn't it? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I did Princess Bride, Empire Strikes Back, 10 Things I Hate About You, which is a 90s at least. Dark Knight, Better Off Dead, Die Hard, Clerks, the original, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Heathers, and The Fifth Element.
Dark Knight was 2008. Dark Knight Rises was 12.
Okay, 12 was Dark Knight Rises. That's the one.
So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of wild, when we think about some of these movies and about how old they are, but also how resonant they are in our lives.
Yeah.
And in our culture.
But also, if you look at some of them, how they haven't necessarily aged well. That looking at them now, you can see a different aspect of them, like Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
He had some issues.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, serious issues. That's the thing, they would make jokes of and make fun of things that nowadays we would be like, there's no way they could be involved in a movie. Like
you can't
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds. You can't do just about any Mel Brooks movie. That's why Mel Brooks hasn't come out with a movie, because he can't do the movies that he's done.
A lot of his humor would be considered somewhat dated. Yeah, I mean,
Blazing Saddles is still to this day, I think, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Oh my God, absolutely. Spaceballs, which is considered a classic, and I'd say fairly tame for the most part. For his humor, there's still a few jokes in Spaceballs that are a little cringy.
Young Frankenstein.
Absolutely. Uh, uh, History of the World.
Oh, History of the
Part
World
one.
Part One is hilarious too.
Holy shit! There's a ton of them. Making fun of gay people,
Mm-hmm.
making fun of racial things and stuff. I mean, Mel Brooks' humor is one of those examples of how a politically correct culture has kind of hurt comedy in certain ways. And a lot of people will talk about that. That it's just it is a um, it is one of those things that like comedians do complain about. So guys, I am a normal squirrel. Found a video of some guys ripping on nerds.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I haven't. We haven't encountered. I'm a normal squirrel.
No.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
She went from suck to blow.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She doesn't look Jewish.
She doesn't look Jewish. Yeah, I mean exactly. Some of these like amazing like things. Yeah, a little, but kind of cringy sometimes. But yeah, most of the kind of what would be termed teenage sex romp comedies of the 80s and or the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s, maybe even going into the early 90s, would not be made now.
Right.
Even a movie like American Pie, which was kind of like the start of a new kind of line of teen sex comedies or sex romp comedies. A lot of those movies are kind of like, ooh, that certainly wouldn't be made now, or would be at least made differently. The fact that like in American Pie, where the whole sex thing with the camera, with the computer, the webcam, and everything gets broadcast to everybody.
Yep.
Holy shit! That's. But at the same time, it was a different time. It was a different era. It was the internet was in its infancy, and just like different ideas.
Oh, Porky's, that's another one.
Porky's is a big one. A friend of mine gave me a bunch of DVDs. They're getting rid of a bunch of their DVDs, and they let me kind of go through them and said, "Here, we're just going to donate them to a thrift store. Do you want to go through them?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to go through them." So I took a bunch of DVDs, a bunch of them that I had holes in my collection. They filled holes in my collection, and I was like, "Porky's, holy shit! Yeah, I'll take this." So I have a DVD of Porky's in the other room, and I literally have not seen that movie since I was a teenager. So I'm kind of.
I don't think I've ever seen the entire thing of Porky's from start to finish.
I have, but it's been a long time. Porky's is also one of those movies that, when you were a kid, like you kind of like you were jealous. Like some of your friends may have got to see it, but you didn't because you're tall. Yeah, man, there's lots of boobs in it, and things like that, and you're like, oh man, I really want to see this movie, and they made 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have my friend Amber. Her mother-in-law played a stripper in Porky's.
Oh yeah.
Her mother-in-law was one of the women in the strip scene or whatever and stuff. I'm like, no shit. Oh, yeah. Yes, she was. I'm like, fuck. So anyway, it's just kind of funny, like that are watching some of these movies that are endearing to us, that are like, wow, what a great, I remember this movie as a kid and watching it and thinking, wow, fun. And you watch it now and you're just kind of like, ooh.
Well, it's like
necessarily age on that. Well,
and that's the thing. So like, I love Better Off Dead. I think that movie is hilarious. And
One Crazy Summer too.
Well, see, yeah, I'm specifically using Better Off Dead because that was one of the ones that I really loved. And I had Renee watch it, and there is an age gap between Renee and I, and so,
oh, you think?
Well, but she grew up in a different time than I did, and she watched it, and she could not identify with it. She's like, that is unacceptable today, and I'm like, well, yeah, but it wasn't back in '85.
Right, exactly. I mean, and Stella and I have a substantial age difference. We're 13 years apart, and there are times when I will show her a movie, and thankfully, all of the movies that I have shown her, I've been like, I think you'll like this one. I'm gonna expose you to it. Uh, I haven't really showed. We did watch Revenge of the Nerds, and she did like that. But watching it, I was when I went, holy crap!
Yeah.
This would not be filmed now. This would be different if they were to film it now. There were several scenes in it, and so I've been trying to be a little more careful. Like I kind of want her to watch American Pie, but I also know that I think there's parts of it she definitely would not like the pie fucking scene, things like that.
Well, I've been seeing speaking of that, though, I've been seeing all these memes about 2020, my plans in 2020, and one of them, it showed a pie, and then it said, my plans, and it shows a pie, and it says 2020, and it shows Jason Biggs.
I think the more fucked up one I saw today was my plans for 2020, and then 2020 was the kid who played Gage in Pet Cemetery, and then the semi truck.
Oh, well, see, the one I've seen was the one that Ian posted in our gaming group Discord, which was Jason Todd and a crowbar.
My God, yeah, that one was a little more of a kind of a that was a obscure one there, but yeah, I was like, damn, dude. For the
Too soon.
For those of you who guys don't know, Jason Todd was the second Robin. He replaced Dick Grayson after Dick Grayson became Nightwing, and Jason Todd was brutally murdered by the Joker. Well, he was beaten by the Joker, brutally beaten with a crowbar.
And then the fans got to vote whether he died or not.
Whether he died or not, right? It was back in the late '80s when, you could call in, and it was relatively overwhelming decision that the fans didn't like Jason, and he was killed. He was it was a voting kind of thing. Like I said, it was a 1-900 number, and you could call in so Jason Todd. What happened was he beat the hell out of him, and then he was blown up. There was a bomb, and the bomb exploded. And now Jason Todd has since been resurrected. He was brought back to life through a Lazarus pit, and everything. But it was pretty intense. For Ian to make that reference, I was like, holy shit, that's a deep dive right there, you know. Let's see, we're getting kind of late here. I did want to talk about real quick before we go. I did get caught up on Harley Quinn. Guys, if you're not watching Harley Quinn, you're missing out on probably one of the best mixes of pathos and comedy in animated history. It is a fantastic cartoon.
It is worth the subscription to DC Universe.
It really is. If that's the only show you end up watching, which would be sad because there's some really great shows on that app, you're missing out. It's incredible. It's fantastic. They're really kind of dealing with her relationship with Ivy now, and just some really, really great stuff. Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. This great relationship between the two of them. Dealing with Harley Quinn, a psychology professional. She's a doctorate. She has a doctorate in psychology, and she's not recognizing the issues she has to deal with her relationship with Ivy. They did an entire episode of her when she first started to treat the Joker as his therapist, and how she met Ivy and stuff like that. That was a really great episode. And yet, at the same time, they have some really hilarious stuff with Jim Gordon, and Jim Gordon dealing with his demons, and his daughter being Batgirl and stuff like that. Honest to God, it's a great, great, great show. If you're not, God, it's just incredible. And I caught the first 2 episodes of Stargirl. I gotta tell ya, this show's got some legs.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. It's they've done two episodes, or I think it's maybe the third one going to be coming up soon.
Sorry, yeah, it's got Kite Dude scoring with Ivy. Yeah.
Kite Man is great. He's really funny too. I gotta admit, you know.
Them going out to brunch with his parents.
What? Oh my God. Apparently, Kite Man comes from some money, and his parents are these horrible piece of shit, like rich white people, and
with superpowers.
Just terrible.
With superpowers.
Did they have
Yeah, they had
superpowers?
superpowers. That's why they were so embarrassed by him, was that he didn't have any superpowers. Can,
That's
can
right.
you
Yeah, okay.
imagine us with a child that doesn't have superpowers?
That's right. That's why she flew in or whatever
Yeah.
for the mom or whatever. Okay, yeah. I gotta admit I was pulled away from a couple of points, and I think I wasn't watching it that episode as closely as I should have. But dude, that was really really funny. So anyway, Stargirl. Excuse me. The Stargirl show. It's based very much on Jeff Johns' creation of the character of Stargirl. She was originally the new Star Spangled Kid. It just completely from that first arc of the comic book. She did eventually become Stargirl later on, and eventually she didn't start off with the staff, the cosmic staff. She gets that much later, but they decided to start her off with that show with that device. Originally, she just started off with the cosmic belt, which was something that the original Star Spangled Kid had. Um, it's really cute. It's good. It kind of plucks on that Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of thing, where she's this kind of outcast at her new school. She gets moved from LA to Blue Valley, Nebraska, where her mom is originally from, where she met Pat Dugan. Pat Dugan he is Stripesy. He was the adult sidekick of the Star Spangled Kid, who later became Starman. Um, in this continuity, in the comics, originally Sylvester Pemberton became Skyman after he stopped being the Star Spangled Kid, but they're just kind of mashing up a few things and mixing a few things around. But actually, yeah, Stripesy was one of the few sidekicks that was actually older than their partner.
Huh.
And yeah, and Pat Dugan then eventually Stripesy built a suit of armor, a robotic suit of armor that became Stripe, and so they were stars, the Star Spangled Kid and Stripe, and um, honestly, dude, I was really impressed. There's a lot of really good, like legacy kind of stuff in here, and Solomon Grundy and Icicle and the Sportsmaster, and we're seeing there's a lot of room to grow. There's apparently it is one of the worlds of the Arrowverse. They show it on the they show it on the DC app first, and then the following day it's on the CW. So it is on television. You don't have to have the CW or the DC app if you want to watch it.
But
you
do if you want to stream it, because
if you want to stream it,
CW doesn't stream anywhere.
Correct. I'd say it's got a very Flash kind of flavor to it, because it's a little more. It's not dark like Arrow, or it doesn't have the darkness that is kind of intrinsic and also Black Lightning. But it's a little more, and there's some comedy, a little bit of comedy here and there. I gotta say, not Owen Wilson, it's the other Wilson brother. The guy who's playing Pat Dugan, her stepdad, is God. What's his name? It's one of the Wilson brothers, Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson. Okay. He's great. He's doing a really great job playing the frustrated stepdad who's really trying to connect with his stepdaughter, but not be an asshole. They've got his son. He's got a son, and it's been fun. I mean, like I said, guys, if you want a nice a nice show within the Arrowverse, you can watch with the whole family. Good stuff. Good stuff. Check it out. I really liked it so far, and I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep checking it out, and I hope it did get the initial 13 episodes from season 1. I hope it gets renewed. If anything, particularly too, because Jeff Johns is the main writer, the showrunner. And he is a hometown boy. He's from Michigan. He's from the Detroit metro area. And I'd love to. I've always been a big supporter of Jeff Johns. I want to continue to see him do well. So, I don't know.
All right. Well, I think that'll about do it.
I think that will about do it. Great show, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys, for joining us in the chat. Remember, guys, we're hoping to get.
Please give us follows if you haven't.
Get us some follows. Get us some other people to follow us if you can, because that is really what we need. It really will help us out on Twitch. And hope you're enjoying the conversation, because I know we are. In the meantime, if you don't want to watch us on Twitch and you just want to listen to the show, you can download and stream or download the shows on iTunes. You can get us on the Google Play Store, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, radio.com, and of course you can stream and download all of our shows at nerdswithalcoholshow.com. Also, you can catch the stream on our YouTube channel, Drinking Nerds.
And you can follow us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter, @Drinking Nerds, Instagram, Drinking Nerds. And if you're on Untapped, you can search for Drinking Nerds, send us a friend request, and we will get you added. And then, of course, absolutely, on Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock, we are on Twitch.
Guys, don't be afraid to kind of chime in on the Facebook page. Let us know what you think and what here on Twitch.
Yeah.
What you think, what you'd like us to talk about, if you've got some kind of subject, if you're curious about something, let us know. We're also thinking about getting back into our schoolyard picks, our playground picks and stuff. So if you've got some kind of subject that you'd like us to kind of do a pick on, like movies or TV or like characters, what kind of team ups we'd like to see and fight, who would win in a fight? Hey man, we're big nerds. We're all about that kind of discussion. So, if you got video game questions or want to know what we're playing or what we're interested in, hey man, let us know. Yep. There's a lot of stuff out there.
There is.
So anyway, but on that note,
until next time, Slancha. Hey, that was good. All right, have a good week, everybody.